Do you love guns? Hi, Gene Kelly here, and I've always been passionate about firearms. I started gunsmithing and went to gunsmithing school when I was just 18. I've been a professional gunsmith for over 40 years now, and I'm a licensed Class II manufacturer. I've been teaching gunsmithing since 1993. Now, we started the Gunsmithing Club of America 15 years ago to create a place where people who shared our passion, both professionals and hobbyists, could find reliable, trusted information on real-world gunsmithing. We wanted to provide a place where our instructors could continuously teach our members, where both hobbyists and professional gunsmiths could share their experience and learn from each other. It's to be a trusted community with reliable information. We knew that it would be an extremely powerful resource and tool to preserve our gunsmithing knowledge, provide our members with an enjoyable experience, and as a place that actually protects our firearms freedoms by keeping our guns functioning properly. As a member of the GCA, you'll have access to over 400 hours of gunsmithing instruction and techniques on video, all by qualified instructors who are masters in the field. You will receive our monthly Gun Tech video magazine and print magazine. Plus, the GCA members' website contains almost 200 extremely detailed firearm disassembly and reassembly video courses, hundreds of product reviews, firearms evaluations, and industry interviews. The Gunsmithing Club of America is a one-of-a-kind organization. There's no other club or group specifically dedicated to the art, craft, and profession of gunsmithing. As a hobbyist or a professional, you'll find that this is your source for the knowledge you need. So feed your passion about guns and gunsmithing by being a member in a community of like-minded individuals. If this sounds like you, join us today.
Hi, I'm Ken Brooks. Welcome to another tip from the Workbench. Not long ago, John Bush did a war room tip where he talked about parts, buying them by the pallet, ton, whatever, and he had a box and they showed a picture of it, and it was just full of loose bits and pieces of parts. And it's kind of neat, and when I go to a gun show, that's usually what I do. I'm rummaging through the rust. I tell people, I'm looking at the rust. I'm not looking at the new guns. I know what the new guns are. I'm looking for, a diamond in the rough, junk, rust, whatever. And so John did his thing, and then we got to working through some stuff, and so I thought, let's talk a little bit about that in a little more in depth from a gunsmithing perspective, not in a resale perspective like he was. So I got a bunch of parts here, and literally these just came out of a big box that somebody gave me not that long ago. So I'm looking at it and I'm going, all right, A, what do I got? B, is it useful? Is it junk? Whatever. Now, I kind of caught the pack rat bug from Bob. You got broken parts, people give you stuff. He never throws anything away. In some respects, that's good. In some, not so much. We use a lot of old parts, a lot of old broken parts to make new parts out of. Old barrels that are shot out, we're always making a handle for a wrench or something, a bushing, something. So we never throw anything away. And that's kind of where I'm going at these parts. If they're good functioning parts, cool, hang on to them, put them in inventory. If they're not, can you salvage some of it or part of it or build it into something else? So the springs, first off, if you can untangle them without wrecking them, putting in a great big kink, you can save it. Now, you may not be able to determine what 22 recoil spring is that out of. I don't know. It's got a couple kinks in it, but what I would do is put this in one of my boxes or jugs or whatever I got, 4 springs. And what I would probably end up doing is using this for a shorter spring for something else. I would clip it off right here where that kink is, because from there to there, fairly straight, even, no deformities. So now I got a spring that's not what it's intended for, but it may be a firing pin return spring for something someday. The other end, same thing, not quite as long, so you may end up with only a couple inches. These springs here, they all look about the same. One's shorter, one's a little rusty, same type of deal. Now these, we got it looks like a 1911 recoil spring here, but yet it doesn't. So I don't know exactly what it is. It looks too many coils per inch for a 1911, but it's enclosed on one end, open on the other. So that would slide onto something, probably a guide rod of some sort. So again, and it doesn't look kinked or wrecked, so that would go into the bin of parts that when you find the gun that fits and you need that part, you'll know, you'll have it. You'll dig through your spring and go, oh, hey, look, you put it in the gun, it works, cool. Now these, you may, again, magazine, looks like a magazine spring for maybe a 30-30, couple shotgun springs. You may get a magazine, you may get a shotgun in with a magazine spring that you only need it to be that long. You might be able to salvage some of these. So we don't throw them away. Now, if every 2 inches the spring's kinked or rusted or broke, toss it, because you're never going to use it for anything. But something like that, I would salvage on the springs. Here's a cartridge stop for a Remington series shotgun. Usually, the tip up here is broken. That's usually what it's replaced for, the reason it gets replaced. Nobody's been filing here to limit the engagement that has on the shell. The shell comes back and catches right there. This is a little bent, but that's common. A little bit of surface rust, still has the temper. No cracks through here. So I'd say that's salvageable. Take some steel wool on it, wipe some oil on there, and away you go. Next, an S&K scope mount, but it's only half here. Well, okay. It's only half here, but what happens if somebody needs a half a ring? You've got it. Or what if they need one of the set screws? Or 2 of the screws? You got it. So throw that in a box full of scope mount miscellanea. And I know if you're a gunsmith, you have one of those boxes. This was just floating around, and actually there was another one in there. It's a Remington 1100 magazine cap. Now, unless the threads are cross-threaded and wrecked, and usually when you cross-thread these, or not when you do, but when your customer does, we don't cross-thread things. Usually the magazine cap is okay, it's the magazine tube that gets wrecked. This looks okay. So once again, there it is. Now obviously when you go to take that out of inventory and screw it on and something ain't right, you'll know at that time. But between now and then somebody comes in and they go, hey, you got a magazine cap? Yeah, got one. It's used, half price. But if it didn't cost you anything, if somebody comes in and gives you a box, and sooner or later someone will give you a box of, I don't want to say crap, diamonds in the rough. Didn't cost you anything. So yeah, you charge them half price or whatever, man, right on. Here you go. If it's your brother-in-law, you charge them double, whatever. All right, another thing, followers. This one to me looks brand new. There are no gouges, file marks, grind marks. The wings here and here for captivating the magazine spring appear intact. And followers, people lose them. They flip the hinge on the floor plate, it flops down, they lose these. Or they come in with one that's got a plastic one and the plastic one's broke. This is a metal one. So you can replace it, or you're going to adapt this to a different gun. It's metal, so you can weld up a little bit to keep it from shimmying side to side, but gives you another, again, this is worth its weight in gold. These are cool. So Mossberg 500 trigger guards, right? So the first thing you look for is the 2 little tabs because they break off, right? Well, this one's broke off. Dang it. All right, so maybe not. You can salvage that, but well, these ones are sound. Very cool until you turn it around and the back is broke off this one. This one's okay, but it's the one we're going to have to salvage up front. But the back is broke off. So on something like that, I would, well, I have it, so I don't know that I'd throw it away. You may be able to make some sort of a buffer or something out of the polymer here. But yeah, not so much there. So kind of a lose-lose on that one. You might be able to salvage the one. Smith & Wesson barrels. There's a reason you got them. There's a reason they're in the bag or the box that somebody just gave you. Smith & Wesson revolver barrels are not cheap, so they're not going to just give you a bag full of gold. What's going on? Well, the first thing I notice is that 2 of them have the little locking bolt and pin. So you can salvage those if nothing else. Now, on the K-frame specifically, I will look at right here, and you can see this one has a crack. That one's got a crack. That's the reason that barrel's gone. At least that's one of the reasons. Look down it, look for a bulge. That's the next thing. Little bit of surface pitting here and there. Not too worried about that. A lot of times they'll clean up. This shorter K-frame barrel, this would be a Model 19, has the split as well. And so does that one. This one also has some wear and tear here where the pin was, I believe the pin was removed, but then the threads were boogered up and it galled them a bit. If the pin's left in, usually this looks a lot worse, although I changed my mind. The pin was left in when somebody tried to unscrew this, because you can see where the pin tore down through the threads. Then they realized, oops, they pulled the pin, they went to unscrew it the rest of the way, and the damaged the rest of the threads, but you still got the damage here. Now, this can be cut off. Remove this split section, trim this back, however much it is, probably going to be 1/4 of an inch or better. Trim it back, screw it in. You're going to have to shorten your ejector rod by quite a little bit. Most people don't want to shorten them that amount, and that's another reason you have the barrel. But if you look closely, nope, I lied. I was going to say you can see a pin, but what it is it's dirt. I was going to say you can remove that front sight. Actually, that might be a pin. You can salvage that front sight. A lot of times you can cut the barrel off right here, machine off the bottom part, excuse me, and then you have a ramped front sight that you can adapt to another firearm. You can use the inside of the bore for some sort of a bushing. There's all kinds of things you can use them for. Now, this last one I looked at, and the first thing that caught my eye was the checkered top strap, Model 27. Nice barrels, nice guns. Why would we have a several $100 barrel floating around in our bag of goodies? We got the pin here, locking bolt like I mentioned. The front sight is pinned on this one, so we could salvage that if need. But what's going on? Threads aren't damaged here, no splits, we're dirty. What's going on? We look down it and oh crap. Right about there is a bulge. Dang it. If that bulge was up here, we'd simply cut it off, save the barrel, but the bulge is back here in the worst part. So that's why. But you got an original 27 front sight and that locking bolt. Savable stuff. Something that's not so much savable. So you got to look at it from an aspect of, am I going to be able to use this for something down the road? A lot of the stuff, yes. Some of it, no. Hope that helped. We'll catch you next time.
Do you love guns? Hi, Gene Kelly here, and I've always been passionate about firearms. I started gunsmithing and went to gunsmithing school when I was just 18. I've been a professional gunsmith for over 40 years now, and I'm a licensed Class II manufacturer. I've been teaching gunsmithing since 1993. Now, we started the Gunsmithing Club of America 15 years ago to create a place where people who shared our passion, both professionals and hobbyists, could find reliable, trusted information on real-world gunsmithing. We wanted to provide a place where our instructors could continuously teach our members, where both hobbyists and professional gunsmiths could share their experience and learn from each other. It's to be a trusted community with reliable information. We knew that it would be an extremely powerful resource and tool to preserve our gunsmithing knowledge, provide our members with an enjoyable experience, and as a place that actually protects our firearms freedoms by keeping our guns functioning properly. As a member of the GCA, You'll have access to over 400 hours of gunsmithing instruction and techniques on video, all by qualified instructors who are masters in the field. You will receive our monthly Gun Tech video magazine and print magazine. Plus, the GCA members' website contains almost 200 extremely detailed firearm disassembly and reassembly video courses, hundreds of product reviews, firearms evaluations, and industry interviews. The Gunsmithing Club of America is a one-of-a-kind organization. There's no other club or group specifically dedicated to the art, craft, and profession of gunsmithing. As a hobbyist or a professional, you'll find that this is your source for the knowledge you need. So feed your passion about guns and gunsmithing by being a member in a community of like-minded individuals. If this sounds like you, join us today.